But anyway, I'm sure that the Thai tourism industry will not be the same
Yes.
anymore.
I was going to ask you, how do you think this will have a long-term impact on tourism?
Let me talk like this. We have the record around 1 year is average around 40 million.
Yes.
I don't think the next 2 3 years we will get back to that number, 40
Mhm.
millions.
Mhm.
And even we can do that, we just don't want to do it.
Don't want to.
Welcome to crTALKS. In this series of travel readiness conversations, I'll be talking to experts, thought leaders, entrepreneurs, key stakeholders on how destinations and businesses are getting ready to resume tourism after COVID-19. Thanks for watching. I'm Fazal, your host for today.
Some thoughts from you on where is Thailand in terms of managing the tourism situation currently?
Oh, I think this would be, I would say that since I have been working for TAT longer than 35 years when I was a junior, and Thailand have faces so many crisis incidents since natural disaster like tsunami or even our internal issue or political issue about the pandemic, many kinds of pandemics such as the bird flu, SARS,
Yeah.
or many. This is seem to be the worst
Right.
experience of crisis that Thailand have been faced. So the current situation of tourism is very bad at the moment. I think not only in Thailand but everywhere in the
Everywhere.
world,
Yes.
particularly the country who earn the revenue from tourism, we share the same experience.
Yes.
We
Yes.
believe that the tourism situation of Thailand would be decreased at least about 70% at the moment.
70.
70%,
All
because
right.
the statistic we have recorded from January to June, we have only 6.7 million arrivals.
Oh, yes.
Actually, in a year, we welcome over very close to 40 million
40
a
million.
year.
Yes. Mhm.
So this is a number that it is the number that we have tracked from January to June, only 6.7. So by the end of this year, since the country has been locked down since April, we have no international tourists coming over to Thailand. So I think by the end of this year, luckily, we probably the best we can do is only 8 million
8
of
million.
tourist arrival. So in terms of percentage, I'm sure that would be down to very close to 80% in terms of tourist arrival. And in terms of revenue as well, number of the decreasing of the revenue would be very close to 80% as well.
How is the industry coping? I think there are millions of jobs in the travel industry in Thailand. How are they going to survive?
It's so bad. Actually, I think around 4.4 million jobs created in tourism industry. I'm sure that the rating of the unemployment rate of the people has been increasing significantly. I believe that at least 2 million jobs has been unemployed already.
Lost.
So it's very bad. During the situation, the best we can do is domestic market.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, the sky is still blocked, is still shut down. But anyway, the traveling in the country is allowed to do.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen the very good relaxation of the restriction of domestic traveling. So I think domestic domestic business now is the key thing, the key factors that can heal the suffering of the country tourism situation. Uh, uh, Traveling in Thailand now can be done very good.
Mm-hmm.
Airline, domestic airline operated, but not 100% only 15%. We consider from the number of aircraft of domestic airlines all over the country. Only 50% of the aircraft are now flying. The rest of that is still ground.
Grounded, yeah.
The rest of it is still ground. So domestic market would be the key. But anyway, since we just opened the country just 2 months ago, so we have been shut down from the from February until May. So even domestic market, we believe that this year we probably would be decreased around 63% as well.
All right. How do you, but even domestic market, also even domestic travelers are also very reluctant to travel. I think, I have talked to Malaysia, Philippines, and all these countries as well. So how do you encourage? Is there some program? Yesterday, Singapore Deputy Prime Minister announced incentive also for domestic tourism to encourage people to travel. So is Thailand doing something?
We do the same. We do the same. I think this is the. I would think that this is a very standard pattern of any country to try to recover the country by domestic. Because I read the news as well this morning that China, who is the key market of Thailand in the past, I have seen some article have been announced that the China government will not be allow Chinese people traveling abroad, because I'm not sure whether it is my understanding that if they allow that people traveling overseas, they may get some virus back to the country, because China is one of the countries that perform quite well in terms of prevention. So I'm sure that Thailand will share the same idea of this. Actually, number of Thai people traveling abroad a year is around 13 million. At the moment, nobody allowed to go abroad. So I think this is an opportunity of the domestic that Thailand, TAT would like to encourage Thai people to travel in the country, which we are now preparing a lot of the stimulus packages. Prepare a lot of the domestic campaign and already launched just last month, since we have seen the clear relaxing restriction from the cabinet.
Right. So is the hotels now opening up also for domestic travelers?
Only, I think, in terms of the hotel, yes, they reopen. It's reopened for the domestic market, but just only 50%, because you know that the revenue of the tourism of the country is shared by the international tourists about 70%.
70%.
So even they're ready to open, they can open only 30% or 50% for the Thai tourists only.
Yeah, and also I think domestic tourism is generally low yield. So
low yield. Absolutely correct.
That's also a challenge. Yes. So
and if you open the hotel without any international tourists, the fixed cost would be happen.
Yes.
They have a fixed cost of operation, so that's why I'm saying that only 50% of the reopening hotel to accommodate only for Thai tourists. But luckily that only 13 million Thai people cannot go abroad, so they're traveling.
There may be, that's a potential market for local tourism. Yeah.
Right.
So are you doing any specific kind of campaigns to encourage domestic tourism? How do you encourage? Because a lot of countries are the same challenge that they have. How do you? Because you still need to. I think the biggest issue is safety, health, confidence, trust. Yes. How do you what do you do exactly from Thai point of view to?
Actually, I would say it is the integrated mechanism working together in terms of to create value for the money for the Thai people. TAT working with the Ministry of Finance to launch the campaign, domestic campaign. What we call is WeTravelTogether.
All right. Okay.
This is a stimulus package. It means that we work with the Ministry of Finance. The cost of traveling around 70% would be subsidized by the government.
All right. Okay.
It's cover about the rooms, it's cover about the air tickets, it's cover about the food expenses. In totally, I just want to make you understand easily about this package.
All right.
Each
Okay.
trip of Thai people cost would be shared by the government about 40%.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It costs about $100, for example. Traveler paid only 60%.
60%. Okay.
Rest of that would be covered and subsidized by the Ministry of Finance.
And this is already launched or?
Already launched since last year and would be continue until by the end of October.
All right. Okay. How is the take-up? How is the take-up?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The second phase going to be launched, I think about next month. What we learned is there was some complication of registration because everything would be done online.
Okay.
So people probably lack of the skill to use online. It's quite complicated, but we have learned a lot but anyway, it's not so bad for the first phase of launching. But the second phase, we learn from the pain point. We have seen like so many steps of registration. It's quite complication to get a redeem back to their account, for example. So we learned that the second phase would be launched next month. So I'm sure that would be easier and make it for the very good efficiencies. So
they can only buy products and services from suppliers that the TAT has approved?
Right, correct.
Okay.
For example, next month going to be a long weekend for Thai people from 4th to 7th of September would be the long weekend. The government just announced the long weekend next month.
Okay.
I would go through the website, the website of WeTravelTogether.
Okay.
I check the hotel where I let you go because all supply will be registered on this. When they book the room, it costs about, for example, it costs about $100.
Okay.
I paid cut from my credit card only 60%.
All right. Okay. Okay. It's no more reimbursement. So automatically.
No.
Okay.
And the rest of that, when I register, because I use my ID number, log in, cut off from my credit card, and the rest of that, when I register, the system will help the government to see which hotel, what is my booking, when the check-in time, when is check-out time, and then the rest of that will be paid by the government directly to the hotel.
But is it something that I haven't heard something like this in ASEAN other countries for domestic tourism?
I heard some from Korea and some from Taiwan, but that would be the different mechanic.
Okay.
I think they have launched like the value coupon or vouchers for their citizen.
All right. Yes.
What I heard, I'm quite impressed because it's quite easy to do. They just walk into the bank or to the post office and buy the amount of the voucher. For example, if it's cost like $500, but there's people spend only $100.
All right. Okay.
But you can get the voucher that value about the $500.
Okay.
This is I think it's the same concept.
Same principle,
domestic, but different mechanism. Yeah.
But how long did it take for you to set up this WeTravelTogether platform?
Until by the end of October.
Okay.
31st of October. Because we expect that from October onward to the New Year time, that probably we hope. I mean, TAT and the business sectors hope that perhaps the government would be allowed to allow the international tourists coming over to Thailand.
But there was news, I think yesterday or day first today in many papers that, and it was mainly headline news, Thailand says that international tourism will be only in 2021.
That is the news, but of course from the travel sectors, the businessmen they have now facing the government to do something to relax the restriction of this.
Right.
Yeah.
How about intra-ASEAN travel? Is there some attempt to, you know, maybe Thailand, Malaysia, because you have a land border? So is that something that it is looked at, or?
I think actually the relationship between Thailand and ASEAN country in the past, we have been working together quite well, and I don't have the number of the ASEAN traveler at the moment. I can provide it to you. I'm sure you can search from the ASEAN website. But anyway, I like to share that. But since COVID, all border around the country has been blocked.
Yes.
Not only for Thailand, the neighbor country, they do the same thing.
True.
Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, even Malaysia, who share the border with Thailand to the south of Thailand. Everyone just put the hands up to do a guard. So I'm sure that there are no any traveling across the border, but just some sector, just some group that we allow to traveling together, such as the students, or any person who work in the education area, because so many Thai students study in Malaysia.
Yes.
So that would be allowed. But anyway, many kinds of documents, many kinds of the papers need to be prepared for check for the hygiene measures. It's quite strict hygiene measures at the border. The second group, just recently, the Thai government would be allowed the group of the filming crew.
Yes, I saw that. Filming crew, yes, filming crew, yeah.
Coming over to Thailand for this.
Right.
Because I think that the film crew, it generates quite a lot of money to the industry. But
how about the medical tourists? Because Thailand used to have a lot of medical tourists.
Yes, of course. Medical tourists also are allowed to traveling. What we are working very hard at the moment, it's about the Thai people who are living abroad. So many, we expect around 1.3 million Thai people living abroad.
All right.
Both from the short haul market, I mean in Asia, both many stay in the long haul market, such as in USA, such as in Europe as well. So so many huge inquiries of the Thai people that they need to register through our embassy around the world. But in this case, we will not openly 100% to traveling come in. We have a quota of each time, a quota of each day for Thai people. So priority would be focused for the Thai people first who are living abroad. In one day, I think it's around not over 1,500 a day that they will be allowed, because we have to consider the capacity of the medical treatment. And everyone needs to be quarantined for 14 days at the state quarantine provided by the government. So I would say that 90% would be allowed only Thai people living abroad. Only 10% of the segment that I was mentioning would be allowed.
All right. Okay. I mean, we are all, struggling. It's a tough times. How do you see 2021 Thai tourism? Of course, I know we are busy with managing the current situation, but slightly on a longer term. I mean, the question, of course, is how long will it take for us to get back to the 2019 levels? I mean, nobody knows, but But what are your thoughts?
It's very difficult to tell you about it exactly in how many years everything will be recovered. So many theory.
Absolutely.
Some said 2 years. Some said 3 years. But one thing that I can share to you that we see a huge demand of international tourists to Thailand, because during the country has been locked down at the moment. We have checked, we have talked with the key tour operators in Thai tour operators in this country. everyone say the same thing, that so many demand like to come to Thailand.
Right.
Mostly would be come for the medical treatment purpose. Because I'm sure that that this would be another opportunity for Thailand to put in the plan to do the recovery plan for the next year onward. I think wellness and medical tourism will be one of the key magnets that Thailand would like to do for our promotion when we have passed the difficult time. But anyway, I'm sure that the Thai tourism industry will not be the same anymore.
I was going to ask you, how do you think this will have a long-term impact on tourism?
Let me talk like this. We have the record around 1 year is average around 40 million.
Yes.
I don't think the next 2-3 years we will be get back to that number, 40 million. And even we can do that, we don't want to, just don't want to do.
Don't want it, yeah. Okay.
We now start talking what is the appropriate number of the Thai tourism capacity.
Yeah.
We probably would be think about roughly idea. We probably think about the 25 to 30 million a year.
Okay.
But we will be aimed to the high yield market.
Yeah, high yield market. Yeah.
High yield market. So medical tourism is one.
Right.
The luxury market.
Yeah.
The Thai gastronomic food. Thailand. I think Thailand is one of the countries that can offer many kind of food for the international tourists.
Right.
So halal food is one of the key things that we like to promote as well.
Absolutely.
So this is the roughly idea that we would be shift from the mode of quantity, aiming to the quality.
Right.
So it's mean that in terms of marketing we need to be focused.
Absolutely.
And we use our strength and promote, communicate to the targeted tourists, targeted country that we aim. Of course, I'm sure that while we are waiting for the development of the vaccine, which we don't know when.
I mean, the issue is that even when you have the vaccine, how does it get distributed is another huge question. Right. Yes.
Right.
So having the vaccine alone is not going to solve the travel problem.
So that's why I'm saying that nothing would be the same.
True.
We in terms of consumer behavior, I don't think that we're going to see the picture of the huge number of tourists share the same big coach.
Yes.
100 of coaches parking in front of the Grand Palace, in front of the beautiful places of the tourist attraction. But we expect that people would prefer to design their trip by their own.
True.
They're probably happy to rent the car and driving with their family members. People need to traveling with the trusted people.
Right.
So traveling with the family members would be the key. Right. So that is the clue that we can aim to promote the family segmentation as well. This is the example of the way of TAT now considering about in terms of to do the recovery plan.
Okay, so you are rethinking how attractions and experiences should look like in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing that I like to share to you is about the environment. During the time that we welcome about the 40 million a year, I have to tell you that many beautiful places, particularly about the natural places, particularly about the national park, they were spoiled by the mass tourism.
Yes.
And we have seen a beautiful resuming of the nature during people have been locked down, during the people need to work at home.
Yes.
The marine park, the national park, the forest, the blooming of the flowers, the rare species of the fish, the dolphin, everywhere appear around the world, even in the both sides of the Thai oceans. We have seen that. So if we want to get back to the industry again, if the country would be reopened, I don't think that the number of the tourists, the mass tourism would be spoiled that those beautiful scenery. So we learned from the past, and we have to structure of the Thai tourism industry. We should do the right thing from now on. So sometime during the COVID time, we will have learned from the virus. We have learned the beautiful picture of the virus and make human being aware the way that we like to move it forward.
I think the whole discussion we used to have before about sustainable tourism, taking care of the environment, taking care of the communities, I think it has now shown us how to do it also a bit. The COVID has shown us how to do it. So I think we should all learn from that, hopefully. So
Agreed.
Thank you, Khun Tanes. Any other thoughts you have? If we come to Thailand, is there something that, let's say next year, where would you suggest that somebody goes and discovers something in Thailand?
I think everywhere in the world now that Thailand is a safe country. We have a very good system of the public health system.
Yeah.
And Thai people, we never left the guard down. We try to make the very good hygiene measure to prevent the spread of the COVID-19. And Thai people still very hospitality. We are very friendly and ready to welcome everyone back to our country when the sky is open. And God bless you all. Stay safe.
Thank you very much, Khun Tanes. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching crTALKS. In the next episodes, we will be talking to more travel industry stakeholders on how they are overcoming challenges to rebuild the travel industry. So join us on our next episodes. Until then, goodbye.